Tekken. If you were to ask a fighting game fan what their first thought would be upon hearing this name, they'd more than likely tell you of a legendary franchise with super in-depth combat, fun and creative characters, and a style of gameplay that's all its own. It's Namco Bandai's flagship franchise. It's the second highest selling fighting game franchise of all time, and, most of all, it's a franchise that deserves to be in Super Smash Bros., with Heihachi Mishima being its representative. Sakurai has stated in the past that Heihachi was planned to be a playable character in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS, but was dropped on the front that, and I quote, he couldn't think of a moveset for him. No moveset, you say, Sakurai? Well, let's test that. This is Heihachi Mishima for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Heihachi is a heavy-hitting footsies-oriented character who excels at dealing extremely high amounts of burst damage if given even the slightest opening by his opponents. Like in Tekken, Heihachi lives and dies by the neutral game, and if either he or his opponent lets up for even a second, it could spell an early end to their stock. A majority of Heihachi's moves also do a ton of shield damage, allowing him to excel greatly against any defensive-oriented character or playstyle. However, without any projectile attacks and an average speed in both running and the air, Heihachi will struggle against any character that can keep him out of range for extended periods of time. Being a character that already hails from a fighting game, a lot of Heihachi's character basics are already covered by his own franchise. His idle stance, walk, run, and jump are all identical to the ones he has in Tekken, with his rolls and sidestep being the sidestep characters in Tekken can perform. However, it doesn't simply end there, for Heihachi has a ton of extra nuances to his character to make it feel like he came straight out of Tekken itself. Heihachi's character gimmick is probably the most in-depth and varied gimmick out of all the characters in Smash Bros. And since there's no one name for what it is Heihachi can do differently than all the other characters, I'm simply going to call it Tekken. What this means is that Heihachi is capable of performing actions that are made to emulate the combat scene in the Tekken franchise. Starting at the top of the list, Heihachi has his own spin on Ryu's light, heavy input system. For all of Heihachi's tilts have multiple moves attached to them. However, unlike Ryu, the move that comes out isn't dependent on how hard the player presses the button, but instead how they input the stick motion, as they're split into normal and smash variants. For the smash variants, the player must input the stick motion, then the button, for pushing both the stick and the button at the same time will result in a smash attack. Regular tilts are all string moves that Heihachi uses in Tekken, while the smash tilts are all hard-hitting moves that are designed for ending combos and dealing a lot of damage. This leads to another part of Heihachi's character gimmick. The fact that his regular tilts, as well as his jab combo, are all capable of being cancelled into other tilts in order to achieve different attack strings. This is made to emulate the limb system from Tekken, in which the 4 attack buttons each control a limb of the character. Since multiple limbs via buttons isn't something that can be emulated effectively in Smash, treating each tilt like a separate limb is more than possible. If you want an example of this, Heihachi's forward tilt can be cancelled into either his up tilt or his down tilt after the first hit. Speaking of tilts, Heihachi also has a unique type of tilt that's designed specifically for him, which is a tilt by holding down and forward on the control stick. The down plus forward input is a common input seen in a lot of Namco's arena fighters, so it's only fitting that the mascot for the franchise that started said genre to use it. Down plus forward tilt, much like other tilts, is also broken into regular and smash inputs, while also having the ability to cancel into other tilts, although no other tilts cancel into down plus forward tilt. Moving outside of his tilt system, Heihachi also has a few other attacks that are exclusive to his character, those being a varied dash attack system and, more importantly, a sidestep attack. The dash attacks will be explained with his basic normals, but the sidestep attack is a very important part of a Tekken character's kit. During either a roll or a sidestep dodge, Heihachi is capable of canceling the animation early with a combo string, much like how he can perform an attack while sidestepping his opponents in Tekken. This combo is a perfect way of countering reckless offense and poor positioning from your opponent, making Heihachi's neutral game all the more dangerous. Aside from that, Heihachi is also capable of special canceling, much like Ryu and Ken can, while also having a few extra mechanics. The first of which is the ability to extend his sidestep dodge by holding down the shield button. Since sidestepping is so important in 3D fighters, I thought it'd only be fitting for Heihachi to have access to this kind of ability, but keep in mind that the longer you hold down the shield button, the longer the animation will be before you can move out of it, meaning you can't simply just hold it and expect not to get punished for it. Sidestepping too much is also something that tends to get punished pretty hard in Tekken as well. The last mechanic unique to Heihachi goes in tandem with a unique visual distinction that only Heihachi has, and that's the fact that once Heihachi gains access to Rage, his model will begin to glow red, much like a character in Tekken does once they've reached low health. This visual cue is absolutely essential for a Tekken character in Smash Bros., and it gives your opponent something to fear, for that flash means they'd better kill you quick, or they're in trouble, which will more than likely lead to some panic play on their part. Once Heihachi enters Rage, he gains access to the said aforementioned last mechanic, the Rage Drive. This is a hard-hitting combo attack that can only be used once per stock, and for good reason, as the damage and knockback this move provides is nearly on par with that of Final Smashes. However, again, it is only a single-use attack, so if you miss it, that's it until you hit Rage on your next stock. If you hit Rage on your next stock. That's what makes up the combined terror that is Tekken, making Heihachi, hands down, the most intricate and skill-demanding character in the game. But hey, if he were easy to play, it wouldn't be true to the likes of Tekken, now would it? Tekken is notoriously known for being one of the hardest fighting games to play at a really high level, and those that master Heihachi should feel just as gratified about their achievements. Now that that's all taken care of, let's finally move on to Heihachi's normals. All of Heihachi's normals are based on moves and strings he can use in Tekken itself, much like how all of Ryu's attacks are attacks from Street Fighter. Jab combo is Demon Kicker, one of Heihachi's strings that features 2 punches followed by a kick. Should the player cancel the first hit of the jab combo into a forward tilt, the move turns into Demon Massacre, a variation of the Demon Kicker string that will result in more damage but a longer cooldown at the end. Heihachi's regular forward tilt is Tenma Destroyer, a double hit attack that will feature Heihachi elbowing his opponent before sending them flying with an electric palm attack. This attack launches the opponent horizontally and, as mentioned in the character gimmick section, can be cancelled into one of 2 other attacks. Cancelling the first hit into down tilt turns the move into Subjugator, which will have the second hit turn into Heihachi performing a downward swing with his arm. This move's knockback is quite low, but its shield pressure and damage output is incredible, meaning if your opponent shields the first hit of the string, cancelling into Subjugator is a great way to catch them off guard. Lastly, if the player cancels the first hit into up tilt, the move becomes Tenma Barrage, which ends the combo string with a roundhouse kick, launching the opponent more vertically. For the Smash variant, this move becomes Chrome Dome, a close-range headbutt attack that is not only quite fast, but also armored during startup. This move is most effective when trying to interrupt combos or get yourself out of the corner, but be careful, as that range leaves a lot to be desired. Heihachi's regular up tilt is Tsunami Kick, a high kick that will hit the opponent twice. This is the only one of Heihachi's tilts that cannot be cancelled into another move, but the large hitbox and spike on the second kick more than make up for it. For the Smash variant, this move becomes Shingetsusen, a powerful roundhouse kick with decent range to it. This move is purely designed as a launcher or combo ender, for it launches opponents pretty far for a tilt. Heihachi's regular down tilt is Hammer Punch, which will have Heihachi bring his arm down, well, like that of a hammer. This is a single hit attack, but its hitbox is rather wide given how far up the attack starts. At the end of this attack, players can cancel into forward tilt in order to perform Hammer Beating, a low-hitting punch that deals a lot of shield damage. For the Smash variant, this move actually becomes one of two moves depending on how close Heihachi is to his opponent. When at medium to long range, the move becomes Aishimon, a huge arcing kick that can be used as both an anti-air and as a spike should Heihachi be standing near a ledge, as the end of the kick bounces the opponent off the floor. Despite this, it's also Heihachi's slowest tilt by far, meaning it has to be led into if the player hopes to use it effectively. If Heihachi is close to his opponent, this move becomes Get a Stomp, a super short range attack that will have Heihachi stomp straight down in front of him. This move is designed to deal a ton of damage to any opponent that's either crouching or sprawled out on the floor, much like how Heihachi used it in Tekken itself. Now it's time for the new input exclusive to Heihachi, down plus forward tilts, which I'll now be calling DF tilt for short. Heihachi's regular DF tilt is double palm strike, Heihachi's quickest combo string, but also his weakest combo string. This is designed purely for spacing and chipping at your opponent's health, but the same can't be said for the move it can be cancelled into. Canceling the first hit of DF tilt into forward tilt will have Heihachi perform Muso Tetsui, a powerful overhead attack that will bounce opponents off the floor. Much like the other attacks performed in this style, this move's shield pressure is immense, and it's also excellent for use if your opponent is mindlessly holding their shield button. For the Smash variant, this move becomes Demon's Wings, a heavily armored attack that will have Heihachi step forward while thrusting out his arms. This attack hits on both sides of Heihachi, allowing for him to catch opponents that try to roll past him or attack from behind. Like his other Smash variants, it's strong and does a lot of shield damage, but this one in particular is pretty slow on the recovery. Heihachi, as previously mentioned, has several dash attacks to pick from. If you tap the A button while running, Heihachi will run through his opponent's shoulder first, much like how Captain Falcon and Ganondorf do. But if you hold the A button, he'll perform a flying dropkick that'll do even more damage and knockback. On top of that, if you grab while running, you'll tackle the opponent to the floor before delivering several punches to the opponent's face. You cannot throw someone while grabbing like this, but those punches definitely hurt. Heihachi's sidestep attack is Kidney Crush combo, which can be performed by pressing A multiple times while in the middle of a roll or right after initiating a sidestep. This double hit combo attack deals both great damage and knockback, but the cooldown on the move is rather long, so use cautiously. For his get up attack, Heihachi will perform a spinning version of his crouching dragon kick, all while using demon scissors for his ledge attack. Being a character with such an insane damage output, you might think that Heihachi doesn't even need smash attacks, but since it's a standard or smash, he does, and he has some extra strong moves to take advantage of by using them. Forward smash is Lightning Hammer, a brutal downward strike with Heihachi's closed fist. Heihachi puts his entire body behind this attack, and the damage it can put out is a testament to that. While insanely strong, it is both slow and pretty short range, meaning it isn't ideal to throw out willy-nilly. Up smash is Demon Uppercut, which will have Heihachi do a small dash forward before performing a brutal electric uppercut to knock the opponent up into the air. This attack is the only up smash on record to actually cover a horizontal distance, meaning that it can be used to catch your poor spacing off guard. Be careful though, as said dash isn't armored and can be interrupted by opponents. Down smash is Battering Ram, an AoE down smash much like that of Charizard's, in which Heihachi will punch the ground and create a shockwave around him, dealing damage on either side of him and launching opponents up off the ground. If the opponent is outside the major damage range, they'll instead take minimal damage and trip, much like how it stuns opponents in Tekken. All of Heihachi's aerials are aerial moves that he could use in Tekken, with neutral air being his jumping 1, forward air being Hell Axel, his unique double kick attack that deals a lot of damage, up air being his jumping 4, down air being his jumping 2, which will have Heihachi fall faster than normal until he touches the ground, and back air being his jumping 3, only turned around. Heihachi's grab is his standard grab from Tekken, all while using his standard throw, Neckbreaker, as the pummel, in which he'll give his caught opponent a noogie. As for his throws, all of Heihachi's throws are throws he can perform in Tekken, with forward throw being Stonehead, a brutal headbutt to launch the opponent away, up throw being Jumping Powerbomb, a flying pile driver that will bounce opponents off the floor and up into the air, down throw being Freefall, in which Heihachi will hold his opponent over his head with one arm before slamming them into the floor, and back throw being Broken Toy, in which Heihachi will grab the opponent by the throat and toss them across the stage, this throw being Heihachi's kill throw. Heihachi's specials are comprised of some of his more unique and iconic abilities from Tekken, which is very distinct as a lot of Tekken moves tend to blend together after a while. Standard special is Demon's Breath, probably Heihachi's most iconic attack, especially after Tekken 7 released. Heihachi will quickly thrust both his arms forward, the force creating a burst of electric energy that will send any opponent it hits soaring. Though it's not armored, this move's speed makes it ideal for getting any opponent off your back, while its damage makes it excellent for ending combos or ending stocks, whichever one comes first. This attack will do a lot of knockback, even at low percents, but its super short range makes it far more situational than its description might have you believe. When in the midst of rage, standard special instead becomes Rage Drive, a combo string that can only be performed once per activation of rage. This attack string is fully armored and deals a ton of damage to boot, but again, hit or miss, it's a one-use attack. Once the attack concludes, Heihachi will no longer be glowing red from his rage, though the effects of rage are still present. Side special is Mist Step, a Mishima staple and Heihachi's most intricate special move, as believe it or not, this move is not only used to extend combos, but also as Heihachi's recovery, depending on what input you use. Simply inputting side B will have Heihachi dash forward either along the ground or the air, but if you input one of 4 different inputs, you can get one of 4 different moves. If you simply input B, Heihachi will perform Wind God Fist, a quick launcher that is designed more for juggling than KOing opponents. You can jump out of this attack, meaning that you can instantly follow up into an aerial of your choice. Inputting side B will have Heihachi perform Jumping Mid Kick, a lunging kick attack that deals a ton of knockback but, as a result, is very unsafe on shields due to a long cooldown. Inputting down B will have Heihachi perform Spinning Demon, a spinning crane kick similar to Ryu's Tatsumaki Senpukyak, only much lower to the ground and hitting multiple times. Lastly, inputting up B will have Heihachi perform Spinning Demon Uppercut, which will have him perform a sliding spin kick before performing a leaping uppercut to launch opponents upwards and himself up into the air. You can cancel Spinning Demon into Spinning Demon Uppercut at any time, greatly extending Heihachi's recovery as a result. This makes Heihachi the only character in the game whose sole recovery special is his side special. Since Heihachi doesn't have a standard up B recovery special, he instead has something completely different, this move being Heaven's Wrath. Heaven's Wrath is a counterattack that is more about damage than it is knockback, as Heihachi will catch his opponent mid-strike before kicking them back, dealing twice the amount of damage done to him in return. While this can lead to some insane damage numbers, this is the only counter in the game in which the countering character still takes damage, as Heihachi will still take normal damage from whatever move he counters, much like he does in Tekken itself. On top of that, this move cannot counter projectile attacks of any kind, making it a pure physical counterattack, the first of its kind. When used in the air, Heihachi will kick his opponent down towards the floor, making this an excellent way of edgeguarding an opponent trying to make it back to the ledge. Just be sure you can actually recover yourself before you use it. Down special is Raijin Stance, a stance-changing attack that will have Heihachi stomp his foot on the ground in front of him. As soon as his foot touches the ground, the player can input one of 3 attacks in order to deal damage to their opponent. If you tap the B button, you'll perform Fusatsujin Hasaiken, a high-hitting armored punch that deals a lot of knockback and shield damage. Inputting side B will have Heihachi perform Raijin's Wrath, an armored double hit combo that is very hard to contend with, but very slow on the recovery. And if the player holds the B button, Heihachi will perform Lightning Bolt, a super hard hitting electric punch that, if it hits a regular shield attempt, will immediately shatter it upon contact. All of these attacks are strong offensive options, but they all leave Heihachi wide open should he miss, so pick your stance attacks carefully. This move can only be used when on the ground, as when used in the air, Heihachi will simply pose and do nothing. The animation is armored though, so it can be used to land. Finally, for his final smash, Heihachi actually has 2 final smashes, something that's apparently a trend amongst fighting game characters now. Heihachi's first final smash is Rage Art, which can only be performed in a one-on-one environment. This combo attack is pulled right out of Tekken 7 and, much like in Tekken 7, it deals a lot of damage. Heihachi's second final smash can only be used if there's 3 or more players present in a single match, and that's End of an Era. Heihachi will perform a rushing uppercut punch, catching any opponent caught into a cinematic final smash. In it, Heihachi will have tied said opponent to the outside of a rocket as it launches into space, Heihachi watching from afar and giving a hearty laugh. This is a callback to Heihachi's arcade ending from Tekken 5, and even though it was used in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, it cannot be denied that this moment is one of the most iconic arcade endings in all of Tekken, which is why it works just as well in Smash Bros. Heihachi's victory theme is the ending riffs of Tekken Tag Tournament 2's opening theme, the closest thing Tekken has ever had to a consistent main theme. Victory pose number 1 will have Heihachi laughing as he boasts about how easy that fight was, turning to the camera as he calls on his next opponent. This is a victory pose Heihachi has in Tekken 7. Victory pose number 2 is also a victory pose from Tekken 7, in which Heihachi will grab his opponent by the back of the head and scream in their face before throwing them back onto the floor. This victory pose instead being from a first-person view instead of a third-person, so it looks like as if Heihachi is screaming at you and you specifically. Victory pose number 3 will have Heihachi meditating on the ground, eyes closed before the camera zooms up on his face. At this point, his eyes will open and he'll give a devious smirk. This is a reference to Heihachi's arcade ending from Tekken Tag Tournament 1. Taunt number 1 is a reference to one of Heihachi's character introductions at Tekken 7, in which he'll cross his arms and ask, Taunt number 2 is Heihachi's traditional hearty laugh. While taunt number 3 is Augur, an input in Tekken that will simply have Heihachi's body crackle with electricity. It's nothing major, but it definitely looks cool. Heihachi's colors are all references to outfits he has worn throughout the Tekken series, each outfit having 2 colors each. Colors 1 and 2 are Heihachi's original gi, featuring in both its usual black and its alternative white colors. Colors 3 and 4 are Heihachi's outfit from Tekken 3, which will have him shirtless while wearing a pair of either vibrant blue or white Hakama pants. Colors 5 and 6 are his outfit from Tekken 7, featuring the standard orange and its alternative blue color palettes. Lastly, colors 7 and 8 are based on the young Heihachi seen in Tekken Tag Tournament 2, wearing the same black and alternative white gi as regular Heihachi. Also, when Kirby absorbs Heihachi, he'll gain a wig of Heihachi's hair and grow a mustache similar to Heihachi, this giving Kirby access to the move Demon's Breath. And that's Heihachi Mishima for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I don't normally go out of my way to state that a character's chances are really strong unless there's a lot of evidence backing it up, like I did for Doomslayer, but I feel as if the chances of us having a Tekken character in Smash is much higher than people expect. Namco is way overdue for a second character, and it cannot be denied that Tekken is the largest IP that Namco has. On top of that, Heihachi was considered for Smash at an earlier point in time, And we all know how Sakurai just adores going back to look at old ideas. Animal Crossing is too peaceful for Smash? Well, not anymore. Ridley's too big? Didn't stop him this time. Heihachi's too complicated to make a moveset for? Well, I think this video kinda proved that wrong, didn't it? I'm not as sure about Heihachi's as chances I am about Doomslayer's, but the prospect of Tekken and Smash is something I doubt Nintendo nor Namco would glance over, especially with characters like Ryu in the game already. And Street Fighter vs Tekken and Smash? I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty damn cool. I believe it'll happen, and I hope I can convince you to believe the same. If you like what you saw, feel free to like and subscribe, as there's more videos of this style for you to enjoy both now and in the future. That's all I've got for now, so take care and have a good one. Good night.